Alright, Sasha, sound check.
Sound check, sound check.
Okay. Okay. Welcome to Magic Talk. Sasha and I here talking about Standard. We've been wanting to do this video for a little while to talk about some of the underrated cards and some of the overrated cards in Standard, and also probably go off on quite a few tangents about random... It's all Standard related, and maybe when Deathrite Shaman comes up, we'll start talking about Modern, but... God, I love Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, you do.
I know.
I think we all do.
I know. I know I like that card more than I should for Standard, but I know I like it as much as I should for Modern. Like, I love that card, and that card is so good. Okay, let's talk about Standard. So, Crazy Lands coming out in Gatecrash.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything, literally everything is going to be splashable.
Yeah, like, who knows what's going to be viable, or, like, what's potentially good. Like, Giraffe's Messenger into Restoration, Angel into Thragtusk. Like...
I know, you could totally play that.
Into Aurelia.
Yeah, why not play Giraffe's Messenger and Aurelia in the same deck? And just play 4 Caverns as well.
Hell yeah.
No, it'll be crazy though. There's so many dual lands that I even kind of want to like give a little bit of a notice to Ghost Quarter.
Yeah.
I think there will be people out there running. I mean, I'm in our Junk Angel deck. We don't even run any basics right now.
Yeah, I've been running one on and off for a little bit, but pretty much 0.
I've tried putting one in, but I mean, have you ever seen a Ghost Quarter?
Yeah, like the control decks are running them now to kill the Drown Yards. Right.
And I think that's a good idea. But we can, in our deck, we're talking about the Junk Angel deck. We definitely could be running like a Forest or 2 in that deck.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I think even like Ghost Quarter knocking off Cavern of Souls or any of the good non-basics, which we have a slide for that later. We can talk about the non-basics later. But yeah, cool thing about Standard is pretty much anything will be possible. You'll be able to combine any combination of the cards in the format into a deck, and the mana base is most likely going to be pretty viable.
It might cost you some life, but that shouldn't really be a problem.
Yeah, but not like Modern costs you life.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fetch lands. But yeah, like, especially since, like, half these dual lands are, just the M13 ones and the Isolated Chapel, Clifftop Retreat, so, like, the ones that don't cost you life.
Yeah, but they cost you time half the time.
On turn 1, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or if you have a hand that's, like, Woodland Cemetery, Sun Petal Grove, and it's, like, ouch.
Yeah, it depends on how deep you go.
Oh, I'll go deep, Sasha.
Ooh.
This is a deck that we were kind of thinking about. Some of the... actually, this slide's more about Thalia than anything, but Thalia's sick, don't you think? Like, when you play her on turn 2 and they wanted to turn 2 Farseek?
Yeah, she's pretty much a cock block, but that's only good on the play, though. That's why I like Judge is familiar, because even on the draw, it stops the Farseek.
Right, but you could play those 2 together.
Yeah, definitely.
The idea for this deck was to kind of play like a core red-white humans, because Boros is coming out, so this is just kind of the shell for the deck come Gatecrash, and the shell for the mana base as well. We already know that Falconwrath Aristocrat is insane. From block constructed for, Innistrad block constructed, Hellrider was a monster. Until Lingering Souls got banned. Which you could actually play Lingering Souls. You definitely could play Lingering Souls in this deck with a Hellrider as well. Although,
yeah, you likely could. But it doesn't interact with Thalia.
No, I was just about to say that. Yeah, actually, Ryan and I were looking at this earlier, and I put Sorin in there, and he's like, yeah, but then Sorin's a 5-drop. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty shitty. I wouldn't want to do that.
You could run Thalia and the Electromancer. Sick one.
Thalia, just to counteract each other?
Yeah, just so that you can cast spells, like, at the regular cost.
You're so good at teching, Sasha.
So good.
I'm so glad I have you as my testing partner. Like, alright, we need a tier 1 deck, and then Sasha's like, Judge's Familiar, Thalia, Goblin, Electromancer, go.
Now we can play Lingering Soul.
Yeah, and then I... Jesus. God, I would Mizium Mortars that deck so hard. Or, like, even Supreme Verdict. You can't judge his familiar, that's Supreme Verdict.
I'm gonna try, because he's gonna verdict it away anyway.
Although I do like the Thalia makes the Supreme Verdict cost 5, and the Terminus cost 7. Or 2. But every time someone miracles a Terminus on your board of humans, you get to call them a sack.
Yeah.
Another card that I thought was kind of going under the radar, so Thalia was the first one that I thought was going, it just wasn't seeing as much recognition as I would like it to, probably because of Thragtusk. But, the other card is Disciple of Bolas. This guy's insane. We were originally playing with this guy in our junk deck.
Yeah. Like, it's just a black Sphinx's Revelation-ish card.
Yes, it is, Sasha.
Yep. Just like a shitload of card advantage out of nowhere.
I always felt like the problem that I had with him is like when we Disciple of Bolas to Thragtusk, because that happens, we almost had like too many cards.
Oh jeez, what a problem.
Well, I mean, like you just have to like discard all of them. You remember in the
reanimated deck you have to discard cards. That sounds terrible.
You know that it was bad because you knew we could only do one thing a turn. That was the problem.
Right.
Like that was the problem in the Junk Angel deck is like, especially when they had like a Tameo.
Yeah.
Like you would play a big threat like Thragtusk, and they would Tameo tap it, and then you would play another one, and then they would just Wrath you, and then tap the beast down, and so they would just 2-for-1 you after 2-for-1 you after 2-for-1 you, and then Tameo would eventually ultimate, and then you'd probably be screwed.
Yeah.
Unless you gained infinite life with the Fiend Hunter Restoration Angel combo.
Hell yeah.
But Disciple of Bolas is a human, too. He's going to be so easy to play with a bunch of caverns and then a bunch of these humans.
Oh, for sure. Because it's definitely got potential.
I also thought it would be sweet. I put, you'll notice seances down there.
Right.
I thought that was a cool idea, like seancing a sweet creature like an Armada Worm into play. And then sacking the, well, I guess they're both tokens now. But sacking the Armada Worm itself, gaining 5 life, drawing 5 cards, and then you also get a permanent 5/5 Worm token.
Not bad, I guess.
And the good thing about the Seance
like
deck...
drawing 5 cards.
Well, the good thing about the Seance deck is the problem I was talking about Disciple Balls. When you have too many cards, like, Seance eats up cards so fast. Like, literally every single turn you can do something with Seance, on their turn as well.
Right.
I thought that was pretty cool.
But you have to find abilities that actually, like, static and actually you want to flicker them in.
Yeah, but there's plenty of them, don't you think?
I don't know. It's just, like, so susceptible to graveyard hate because you're just committing even more.
Yeah. I mean, you're playing a Seance deck. You know a lot about the Seance deck, though, because of you and your Australian friends.
Yeah. Like, we've played a lot with the deck.
I
I just felt like it just, like, loses way too easily to, like, pure... what's it called? Rest in peace.
I honestly have never played Seance, so you would know more about it than I would. But yeah, I mean, Rest in Peace would obviously... I mean, Rest in Peace was good against their Junk Angel deck, too.
Yeah, but, like, we generate enough mana to actually cast the threats.
I really
Whether they, like, Faithless looting away everything and try to go big off the Seance.
Yeah. I mean, Seance is a really powerful card. It's just, the problem with it is, like, if they can handle it, then, like, it keeps exiling your threats, so eventually your deck runs out of threats.
Right.
Which is, that's what I used to do against the Seance deck, is I would just Angel of Serenity all of their targets, because they were all tokens, so they'd be exiled forever.
Yeah.
And then...
And they just might get one interaction of the Seance on your upkeep, and it's like, Like, even if they, like, get an Angel of Serenity in off the Seance at the first go, then you just, like, slam your Angel, hit all the rest of the targets, and they can't do anything.
Yeah, but that was one of the problems with Angel of Serenity and Standard to begin with, is it wasn't enough of a threat. Like,
right.
It was awesome against aggro, but, like, it's not insane on an open board, especially if they, like, are somehow interacting with your graveyard with, like, the Rest in Peace or whatever, or if you just don't have targets in there.
Right.
But yeah, like, the Bank Control, like, doesn't even really, like, play things that you need to, Angel of Serenity.
They play their own Angel of Serenities, and that's it.
They don't play it anymore. Some of them do.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the decks don't. I mean, they're running, like, Garruk Primal Hunters and stuff now, and now they're trying to, like, Nephalia Trinure you out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've heard some people talking about playing Witchbane Orb, and I was like, aren't you just gonna like detention sphere that? Like that's not a big problem.
Yeah, Witchman Orb's not a bad answer, but it's pretty volatile.
Does it shut anything else off? Because the Sphinx's Revelation doesn't.
It shuts Jace Memory Adept off.
True. I like Jace Memory Adept.
Yeah, same.
Jund has some fucking awesome cards too.
Yeah, definitely. Like, some of these cards are really under the radar.
Relentless is nasty, and he's so easy to cast. Like, you don't have to be like, you could totally be like a red, white, black deck, and then be like, oh, well, let's just splash green for Garruk Relentless and Thragtusk.
Yeah, let's have this Stomping Grounds.
And then Bonfire is so easily splashable too. And I know Bonfire hasn't gotten a lot of play lately, but that card is still amazing.
Yeah, it can like be very swingy. You need the metagame to be right, because it's like terrible against the Bant decks that don't really have creatures and shit you want to interact with.
Right, but the metagame's about to shift entirely.
Right, like people are going to be trying these little aggro Boros decks in the early on.
I mean, do you really think... I mean, I think Ban Control will do fine in the beginning of the metagame, but there are going to be other decks that will emerge, and it would not surprise me at all if Ban Control got knocked out by something.
Right.
I mean, not only that, but Wizards is fully aware of like how powerful Thragtusk is, and will definitely print things to like kind of counteract it and allow people to go under it.
Yeah, try to mitigate it.
Yeah, or even over it. I mean.
Yeah, another thing that I like about Garruk Relentless is like it stops their Garruk as well because it's cheaper and easier to cast.
I like that too. Yeah, and playing him on turn 3 of the Farseek, I think, is like more powerful than playing the Garruk on turn 4.
Yeah.
He's also
Death Right's always good.
I know, but in Standard he's really only seeing like a presence in the sideboard. Like I still haven't found a legitimate excuse to mainboard him. I posted a video, I don't remember, I kept on going back and forth between main decking Augur Bolus and Deathrite Shaman, and I think the right choice would be Augur Bolus, and then just sideboard the Deathrite Shaman, but I want to mainboard that guy so bad.
It's just, the exile target land ability isn't relevant enough game 1.
I know, but there's certain ways to make it relevant, like playing Forbidden Alchemy, Tracker's Instinct, stuff like that.
Right, Grizzly Salvage, etc.
It's just not like in Modern how you can play a turn 1 fetch land and then turn 2 play a 3-drop.
That's why I see it, because it's a Birds of Paradise in Modern.
Yeah, it's a Birds of Paradise and then it's a win condition later, or even just keeps you alive.
Right, it does everything.
I also really like Underworld Connections because life totals are just so insanely high. That, like,
right, like the card advantage could just get you there, but then you have to justify it of like Sphinx's Revelation.
But you're playing Jund.
Right.
Which is not Sphinx's Revelation.
Understandable, but then you have to compare it to Sphinx's Revelation, like, does it actually let you keep up with their Sphinx's Revelation?
Underworld Connections?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you'd even play that with Elixir of Immortality, just kind of use the same concept of the deck, just grind them out with Elixir.
Well, they've got their own elixirs as well, so it's going to be pretty difficult, I think.
Right, but you get Wolf Run.
That's fair. But we get Infinite Life.
In our junk deck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Olivia.
That's been off the radar for too long as well.
Which one?
The Infinite Life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people... I don't even know. Like, people were saying that, like, other people are aware of it. I've literally never seen another person besides you, me, or Ryan gain Infinite Life off of that combo.
Right.
Literally never seen or heard of anyone else doing it besides us 3.
Yeah. It just seems so simple, though. I don't understand.
I know. I love doing it in Game 3 against people, too, when you, like, you know, win Game 1 with an Angel of Serenity, lose Game 2 because they're on the play, and then you go to Game 3 and you're just like, alright, Infinite Life, and they just scoop up their whole board. And they always kind of ask it first. They kind of, like, look at it and they're like, oh, yeah, that works. Shit.
Damn it.
Yeah. And
I just love it whenever they read Seraph Sanctuary. It's the best feeling.
I know, they always see it at first, and you always see them kind of, like, get a confused look on their face. They're like, this guy's deck sucks.
Yeah. They're like, hey guys, I got